Well, happy Friday, everyone. Today is April 24th. It is the 25th day of our distance learning and the end of our 5th week of home learning. So I would just like to say that my two friends are here. Here's Paula and here's Chilla. Today is the last day we will be practicing the letter W. I'm noticing my board is looking a little messy. It's got a lot of stuff on it, so I'm going to use some cleaner on it and really scrub it hard before we begin. Okay, I think we are ready to put some letter W's down on this board. Now remember, W's are all diagonal. You never lift your pen. Let me put my happy face so I know where to begin. We're going to go diagonal all the way to the bottom, to the middle, to down to the bottom, and back up to the top. So if we go a little faster, it's going to look like that. We don't want to go too fast. We want to keep our diagonals neat and clean, and we want a good amount of space between the two large lines because you want to be able to see the upside down V in the middle. You don't want it too squished. So if you do something like this, it's really hard to tell that's a W. It just looks like sloppy scribbles, to be honest. So diagonal, up to the middle, down to the bottom, diagonal to the top. Diagonal to the bottom, up to the middle, down to the bottom, diagonal to the top. Now you can see that my diagonals here are a lot bigger than my diagonals here. It just kind of comes and goes, but you do not want your W to be straight up and down. That's just, no. You want some diagonals between them. I'm going to cross those two out because I don't like those. So diagonal all the way down to the bottom, up to the middle, down to the bottom, diagonal all the way to the top. This is a wide letter. It takes up a lot of space on the paper, and that's okay. We expect that. Now usually I have you do 8 capitals. Let's see if I was able to do 8 capitals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got my 8 capitals in, and now we can work on the lowercase ones. Remember, everything stays the same height. It's all at the dotted line or the bottom line. So we're going to go down to the bottom, up to the middle, down to the bottom, up to the middle. Down to the bottom, up to the middle, down to the bottom, up to the middle. Down, up, down, up. I only have 3, so I know I have some more to do down below. Down, up, down, up. And remember, you want to make sure you're going all the way to the bottom, all the way to the middle, all the way to the bottom, all the way to the middle. You don't want anything floating. You don't want anything going too high. I don't like those. Let's do our very best. Down to the bottom, up to the middle, down to the bottom, up to the middle. I'm going to cross those out. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lowercase w's. Now since we just practiced, I'm going to get out an index card and do my very best W. Because remember, we have been doing these from the very beginning. We've been practicing our letters for a week and then putting up our very best letters on an index card. Now, I mentioned earlier this week that it might be a good idea to write some notes on the back, moms and dads, stuff that you did that week, birthdays, anything unusual, just to kind of remember the weeks as they go by. I haven't done that yet, so I think I'm going to do that with this one. I have a friend who's having a birthday drive-by tomorrow by his house, so I'm going to include that on the back of my W. Anything that happened during the week that is important, like this week we had Earth Day, which I did not mention on my videos, and I'm sorry. So you might want to make these like a little moving diary of what's been going on at home. Preppy K's, I need you to write your very best W's on your index card. So we're going to go down, up, for the capital. Remember, these should be approximately equal and the one in the middle should be lower. And then the lowercase, everything should be equal. 1, 2, 3. And then moms and dads, you can write down a few notes about exciting things that have happened. Keep it as an ongoing log. And when we're all done, we will find a way to turn these into a memory book for the time we've spent at home. Now there's one more activity that I would like to do with the letter W today. I took out all of my nail polishes yesterday for the estimation jar, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we did some nail polish writing? So I've done this before. If you're new to the videos, I'm sure you all have at least one nail polish that you don't use. I haven't been doing my nails. Oh, they're filthy. And so really all my nail polish is stuff I don't use right now. So let your kids use something else other than crayons, markers, something special. So I'm going to make a W. Oh, I got glitter nail polish. Okay, let me get some more out. Looks like this is going to be a lowercase w because all the points add up in the middle here. And I'll get another color, and really let your kids just do whatever they, as many W's as they can in different colors or different capitals or lowercase. Ooh, that's a bright pink. Okay, I'm going to make this one a capital because you can clearly see the inside is lower than the two outsides. Just let them have fun. Why not? Stuff you don't use. It's a little smelly, but the smell goes away. I'll do a smaller capital W. Super Preppies, I challenge you to do at least 8 W's. They can be capitals or lowercase. You choose. Oh, I got some good W's there. I already have 4. I'm not going to continue. You guys can finish, but you get the idea. Have some fun with some different colors. Or if you only have one color you can use, then just use that one color. This is my personal favorite. I like doing white because it actually shows up on the paper. I just think that's pretty cool. So have fun with your W's and nail polish. Have fun with your W's on your index card. Practice writing your W's always. And now I think it's time for calendar. Well, it's Friday, and we know it's the month of April. I got a challenge for you, Super Preppies. Can you tell me the 3 months that come in front of April? The first 3 months of the year. Well, let me tell you, in case you already told me, if you said January, February, March, you're correct. So we have January, February, March. This is April. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Please be practicing your songs with the YouTube videos. Remember, there's Macarena Months with Dr. Jean. That's the one you want to look up because that's the one you sing in the classroom. Let's go with our days of the week. 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 There's Sunday and there's Monday. There's Tuesday and there's Wednesday. There's Thursday and there's Friday. And then there's Saturday. Days of the week. 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 Now, usually after this we do our pattern. So let's see, we have a good long strip here. I bet we can get the pattern in. Rainbow, umbrella, raindrops. Rainbow, umbrella. Have you made your guess? Well, I have it right here. So our pattern is, if you said raindrops, you got it right. And you guys also might be noticing that there's a diagonal pattern in our calendar. If you look, rainbow goes down diagonally, and umbrellas go down diagonally. So if we didn't have this up and you were to look, you would know that diagonally raindrops would come next. When you're looking at patterns, look all around. Don't just look across. Look down. Look diagonal. Look the other diagonal. Sometimes you'll find patterns in different ways. I need my Super Preppies to count with me today. I want everybody. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We made it all the way to April 24th. And that means it's time to find out what day today is. Well, I got my little hat for it, and I know today goes right here. I'm going to follow it straight up and see that today is, ooh, the only day with the in the beginning. Today is Friday. Yesterday is what comes before. So I'm going to take my little hat and put it right up before, right before today. I'm going to go yesterday. I'm going to go all the way up and see what, oh, yesterday has a TH. And remember yesterday we talked about the TH together makes a sound. We have to stick your tongue out. So yesterday was Thursday. Let me find my Thursday sign and stick it right here. Tomorrow. Well, tomorrow hasn't happened yet, so let's look where we don't have a number. Tomorrow hasn't happened yet. So I'm going to follow that straight up, and I see sat. Ooh, S and A together and T. Sat. Oh, I know that day. That's Saturday. So tomorrow will be Saturday. And there'll be no video learning tomorrow. We'll see you all on Monday. So we have today is Friday, yesterday was Thursday, and tomorrow will be Saturday. I think it's time to check our weather. Come on over. Let's check out the beautiful sky. All right, all our weather wizards. Did you get a chance to get a good look? Let's go inside and decide what the weather is today. So we have snowy, windy, partly cloudy, sunny, and rainy. I'll give you a moment to decide. You know, we said it yesterday. We said it the day before yesterday. We're saying it today. Today is sunny. I think we're going to get a lot of those sunny days in the next days and weeks. We are officially in spring, and after spring we're heading really fast towards summer, so we're probably going to see a lot of very sunny days. That's it for calendar. So our story today is Franklin and his friend. Now, normally this has an author and an illustrator, but because this book was printed along with the TV show Franklin, for some reason they didn't include an author, so I don't have one today. Sorry, guys. Franklin has had lots of good friends and a best friend named Bear. He also had a friend named Otter who had moved away. Franklin and Otter sent each other birthday cards and photographs, but they hadn't seen each other for a long time. Then one day, a very special letter arrived for Franklin. Otter was coming to visit. Franklin hurried to Bear's house with his news. "Guess what?" he exclaimed. "Otter's coming to stay with her grandma this weekend." "Hooray!" said Bear. "Remember the old days when we used to slip and slide down the riverbank?" Franklin asked. "Gee, Franklin," replied Bear, "nobody does that anymore." "Well, I bet Otter will want to," said Franklin. On his way home, Franklin stopped by the pond. He told Beaver about Otter's visit. "Remember all the swimming races we used to have?" Franklin asked. "I bet Otter can't wait to race again." "Otter is a captain of a swim team now," replied Beaver. "She won't want to race us slowpokes." "Yes, she will," Franklin insisted. Beaver rolled her eyes. When he got home, Franklin went to his room. He searched and searched through his toy box, under his dresser, and in his closet. Then he called his mother. "Where are my blocks?" he asked. "You gave them to Harriet," she answered. "You said you didn't need them anymore." "Well, now I want them back," said Franklin. "Otter and I always played with those blocks." He marched off to Harriet's bedroom. Finally, the big day arrived. Otter was coming for lunch. Franklin sat on the front steps all morning. "When is she going to get here?" he said over and over. "I can't wait." And suddenly, there was Otter walking through the gate. Franklin and his family gave Otter a big hug and a big welcome. His parents asked her lots of questions about her new home. Franklin got out the food. "We made happy face sandwiches just for you," he said. "I thought those were for Harriet," said Otter. "They're your favorite," Franklin reminded her. Otter laughed. "That was ages ago." She took a sandwich from the grown-up plate. Franklin frowned. After lunch, Franklin suggested they play with his blocks. Remember all the castles we used to build, he asked. Otter nodded and followed Franklin to his bedroom. Harriet was already there. She had all the blocks in her lap. Mine, she said. I guess blocks are for babies, said Otter. I guess, Franklin mumbled. Franklin and Otter went outside to play. Do you still go to the pond? Asked Otter. Of course I do, said Franklin. Let's go. Everyone will be there. Franklin was right. They got to the pond and the whole gang was excited to see Otter. Beaver wanted to know how many swimming medals Otter had won. Franklin suggested they have a race. Oh, Franklin, said Beaver. Otter's too good of a swimmer for us now. But Franklin was already in the pond. Otter jumped in beside him. Ready, set, go, cried Bear. Otter was across the pond before Franklin had swum 3 strokes. Told you so, said Beaver. Everybody laughed, even Franklin. Franklin climbed out of the pond. Let's play baseball, he suggested. I haven't played baseball since I moved, said Otter. I won't be any good. Sure enough, Otter struck out on all her turns at bat. She didn't catch a single ball heading her way. I don't want to play anymore, said Otter. Franklin looked at Otter and sighed. Just then, Otter's grandma came to get her. Will you play with me tomorrow, Franklin? Otter asked. I guess so, replied Franklin. Otter left and Franklin walked home alone. Humph, he muttered. We sure didn't play much today. Franklin stomped into his house. Otter's no fun anymore, he announced. He told his mother about his afternoon. His mother gave him a hug. You've both grown up a bit, she told him. You've both changed. Does that mean we can't be friends anymore? Franklin asked. Maybe, replied his mother. Or maybe you can find a new way to stay friends. Said Franklin. The next morning, Franklin called on Otter bright and early. If you still lived in Woodland, Franklin told her, you'd be a really good baseball player by now. Then he added, I'm going to teach you, so every time you visit, you can play on my team. Okay, agreed Otter, and I'm going to teach you to be a faster swimmer. That way, every time I visit, you can race me. The two friends smiled at each other. Otter and Franklin spent the day racing in the pond and hitting balls out of the park. Today was fun, said Franklin. And it was fun yesterday, remembering all the things we used to do together, Otter said. It was? Asked Franklin. Otter nodded. But I remember something that I guess you've forgotten, she said. Otter grabbed Franklin's hand and pulled him to the top of the hill, and together the two friends went slipping and sliding down the riverbank and into the water. Franklin laughed. It was just like the old days. I think that was a good story. And it's a story about friends, and I know right now some of your friends are pretty far away from you. If you can't see your friends every day like you used to see at school, maybe you can be like Otter and Franklin and send letters in the mail. Or maybe you can be more current and have some FaceTime with them. Or make some time to play with them on video games. I know you can play on Minecraft together if you have your mom and dad's permission. And there might be some other ways you can play too. Maybe if they live in your neighborhood, you can walk by them and wave hello in the window. Do whatever you can to keep close to your friends until you can see them again. It's time for us to practice writing the number 8. So I'm going to start at my happy face, and remember the happy face is the middle of the number. It's not on the edge like it normally is. So we're going to start here. We're going to go around and around all the way to the bottom line. Around and around all the way to the top line. Well, that was kind of slow. I'm going to go a little faster, but not too fast. Around, around to the bottom, around, around to the top. By now, you should be able to go reasonably fast and make some really nice 8s. Now, don't go like that. Oof, that happens a lot. And don't go like that. That happens a lot too. You want to make sure that you end your 8 where it should end. Around all the way to the bottom, around back up to the top. Now, if you get going really fast, you're going to find that mistakes happen, especially with the number 8. Oh my, those are some sloppy 8s. I really don't think I like any of them. When you're learning how to make 8, I really would prefer if you go slowly. Around, around to the bottom, Around, around, back up to the top. Around, around to the bottom. Around, around, back up to the top. Around, around to the bottom. Around, around, back up to the top. Around, around to the bottom and back up to the top. If you keep practicing the 8s, you'll find that they become pretty easy, but you have to take your time and really think about where you cross. Did you make it all the way to the bottom line? Did you connect back up at the top where you started? You really have to put some time into the number 8. Now I normally have you do 8 8s, but I'm looking at this and it looks like I've done a lot more than 8 8s. That's okay. You can do more. Let's see how many I made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to count these next. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. My goodness, I made 16 8s. Now, I'm going to circle what I think is my best 8. You could do that too. You could circle your very best 8s. And I'm going to ask my son if he will circle the one he thinks is my very best 8. And he can't circle that one. He's got to find a new one. So let's see, he's looking around. Oh, that's a good one too. That was another one I was looking at. All right, so we have our 8 8s and a few extras. You should be practicing that. Now for the next section, we're gonna step outside. It's such a beautiful day. I wanna do math outside. In our weekly happenings newsletter that comes from your Preppy K teacher, the suggestion for the day is to practice writing the number 8. But other than just practicing it like we've been doing on the whiteboard, we're going to do some practicing with some air writing. So first I'm going to take my pointer finger and I'm going to write out the number 8. Around, around, back up, back up. I'm going to do that twice with my pointer finger. Around, around, back up, back up. Let's see if I can do it with my thumb. Around, around, cross, back up. Around, around, cross, back up. I got 2 8s with my thumb. How about my pinky? Around, around, cross, back up. Around, around, cross, back up. Oh, I bet my whole hand can do it. Around, around, cross, back up. Around, around, cross, back up. You're going to try different ways to write the number 8 in the air. I bet I can even do it with my elbow. Around, around, cross, back up. Around, around, cross, back up. I know, maybe I can even do it with my foot. Let me put my foot up here next to my dog's. There's my foot. And let's see if I can go. Around, around, cross, back up. Around, around, cross, back up. Oh, that one was a tough one. I wonder if I can do it with my head. Here we go, I'm going to try. Around, around, cross, back up. Around, around, cross, back up. See how many different ways you can spell or you can write the number 8 with different parts of your body. So today we're going to be making a spider web for the spider that we made yesterday. Now I know this spider is a little different than the spider we had yesterday, but it had so many lumps and bumps and it was so big when we finished with it that I decided to draw a circle in pencil directly on the spider, or you can draw a circle with a bump on the top for the head. And have your Preppy K'ers cut out a good, bigger than a fist size spider from the art we did yesterday. Because what we're going to do today is we're going to take that spider, and you'll see in a second that in my example I had to cut him off my example so he comes right out. But we're going to take the spider and we're going to build him a web. In order to do this, you're going to need a big sheet of paper or 2 sheets of paper that are taped together, a white crayon, and if you have watercolors, use watercolors. I don't have watercolors, so I'm going to use some acrylic paint that I have and a little bit of water mixed together. So all you do is just pour the 2 in and mix them up with a paintbrush. You don't need a whole lot, just need a little to get this done. Alright, so to get started, the first thing we're going to do, Super Preppies, is we're going to put a big white circle in the middle of our paper. Now this may be kind of hard to see, so you may have to look in the sunlight to see it or even run your finger over it. You can definitely feel where the crayon is. We're going to use our white crayon and we want to press on it as hard as we can. We're going to make lines like the spokes on a bicycle. We're going to start at the circle that we drew and we're going to go up and up and up. Oh, I broke my crayon. Does that mean I get upset? Goodness, no. That's what Pete the cat would say. I'm just going to keep on working with my broken piece of crayon. I'm going as hard as I can and I want to go all the way around that circle. Almost there. I think I got lots of lines, and if you look slightly off to the side, I'm going to go like this. Hopefully you can see my lines. I see them pretty well, I just don't know how well they're coming out on camera. Now in between these lines, spiders put smaller lines, and the smaller lines are used to catch flies and other insects. So we definitely want to put smaller lines, and smaller lines are usually curved between the two big lines. Oh, I'm going to press as hard as I can because I really want this white to show up when we do our painting later. All right, I've got my lines, and I can tilt my head and see them. You may have to do that too. Oh, I have to take some paper off my crayon. No worries. White doesn't get used very often, so I don't mind that I'm pressing super hard and using a lot of my crayon. All right, so here we go. I've got some more lines to put on my paper. I'm almost done. Remember, these are the lines that the spider uses to catch their meal. I'm pressing so hard I broke this crayon again. No worries. I'll just use my broken piece. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm tilting it in the light, hoping you can see the lines. And if you can't see them, you're going to see them in just a minute, because now, Super Preppies, you get to take your paint and your paintbrush and paint over the whole paper. Now I'm going to go back and forth because this is kind of thick paint. And if I spread it out and go back and forth, you can start to see my spider web show through. You want to paint from side to side the whole thing, and the spider web is magically showing up in the sky. My light blue makes a really good sky background for my web, and no paint will stick where the crayon is because the crayon is made of wax, and wax and paint, they kind of don't get along, so they stay away from each other. So here we go. I am painting. Oh, I got the bottom of my web showing. Gonna keep going all the way up so you can see all my web. This is really good, by the way, if you want to continue to write with a white crayon on white paper. You can write your letters, the alphabet, your numbers. You can draw secret pictures, and then someone else, or you later, can paint over them, and you can show everyone what you were hiding with your white crayon. So there's all kinds of painting you can do, not just a spider web. Now, once you have finished your sky, and I think I want to go back and finish my edges a little later, but once you finish that, you're going to take your spider and you're going to figure out, where do you want your spider to be? Do you want it to be right in the middle? Do you want it to be hanging from the top, crawling from the side? You decide where you want him to be. I think in this picture, I'm going to have my spider crawling down from the top of the web. When you decide where you want your spider to be, you can turn your spider over. And remember, Super Preppies, we learned dot, dot, not a lot. You can see Miss Mary making a lot of dots, but no puddles. So once you have figured out where you want your spider to be, you can put your spider down on the paper. Now, parents, I would wait until this completely dries to put the legs on, because I've noticed that when I try it with a marker and the paper is wet, it's hard to do. You can see that my marker is it's not really showing the legs really well. I'll go back over that when it's dry and redraw the legs. Remember, Super Preppies, spiders are not insects. They have 8 legs instead of 6. So you want 1, 2, 3, 4 legs on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4 legs on the other side. And when you're all done, you may even want to go back with that white crayon and put some eyes. Now spiders are kind of interesting. They actually have more than 2 eyes. If you want to know how many eyes they have, you'll have to look it up. But I'm going to leave it with 2 eyes for right now, and I'm going to let the glue dry. I hope you enjoy this. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before you go for the day is I want to talk about a website. Yeah, the website I wanted to talk to you about it's a search engine like Google, only it's geared for kids. So this one is called search.kids with a Z, search.com. Kidssearch.com. And when you get to that search engine, if you type in the word spiders, you'll see a whole bunch of really good websites that are age appropriate for young children. And it's a good way to search for things where you don't have to comb through too much of what's being presented to the kids. I found a website with 25 or 35, I forget which, interesting facts about spiders that I'm sure even the most squeamish kid will like some of them. So this is a good, safe search engine like Google, only it's geared toward kids. Search kidssearch.com, and you most certainly do not have to only put in spiders. You can put anything in that interests your kids. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the end of the 5th week of homeschooling, and I'm sorry this episode went up so late. I didn't have my camera charged, so we didn't get it filmed until very late in the day. I hope you're enjoying the videos. Please leave me a note on either the videos or at dddisney2. Let me say that again, dddisney2@yahoo.com to let me know if you appreciate the videos. This has been a labor of love for me, but I would love also to hear from you guys. Is it helping? Do you have suggestions for something you'd like to see? Help me out with this. I would like to go for the rest of the time that we're out of school and keep making these videos, but I really need to know that someone out there is watching and appreciating the videos. It just kind of helps me and my son when we're filming. So you guys have a good Friday, a good weekend, and we'll see you for the last week of April on Monday. Bye-bye. 2 of my 3 Chihuahuas. And also I'd like to say hello to Mrs. Avila Perez. I wrote my letter to you on Monday, checking up on how you're feeling. And today I wore my spirit shirt. Remember, I've told you guys it's Friday. You should still be wearing your spirit shirts if you have one. And mine today is for Mabel Payne because that's the school that Miss Avila Perez works at. So happy Friday, everyone. And let's get started on some learning.